Encapsulation and data hiding is important concept. That's using the access specifier we discussed above. So it hides the data and operations together in a class. That's encapsulation. Encapsulation is about defining the class, member, and the operation. That means method working on that class member. And data inside the class definition can be insulated with using from the use of it from outside of this class definition by making it private, as we discussed above. And data hiding is that's how you make it private and data will be hidden, and you prevent unauthorized access to new piece of information or functionality. To access the data, you have to have a public method that will access the data. And how does the access control work? How does the access control work? And we have this private, protected, and public. When a member is private, it can be accessed and used by member function of the same class. Members of the class are by default private. Okay, in the class definition, by default they are private. Private members can be accessed only through the member functions, and this provides a complete data encapsulation. That's what it is. And protected, if you define protected, what happens? It can be used only by member functions of that class in which it is defined, and it can be used by member function of the class derived from that class, publicly derived. And public is a public member, it can be used or invoked by any function, and any function, global or the class members or another class operation. And drawbacks of the public data member is there's no protection against its members. Anybody can create the object and call that method. The object can be misused by another programmer. Against the object-oriented philosophy, if it is public, everything cannot be public. And no data hiding is achieved if it is public. And the implementation detail of the objects are not isolated from its user. Talking about static member, the data member of a class can be declared static in the class declaration. Only one copy of the static member exists at the runtime, and it is shared by all objects of that class in that program. Static member belongs to a class, not an object. Rather, not an object. There can be no static member with same name as a static member. So that's a confusion to avoid. We cannot have the same name static and another member of the same class. In this case, class name Zim, and static is no number of locations, and in the constructor we are doing something, in the structure we are reducing the number. That's just a sample. And this is how you initialize a static member outside the class, and you can use scope operators. In this case, Jim is a class, and using scope operator you initialize, and that should be in the CPP file, implementation file. And the static members are not inherited. So if you define a static member in a class, that is not inherited by its subclass. So in this case, A, B, and C, those are the class. B and C are derived from A, but this static AA is not derived to B, C, or D. Like this, if you create a DD object and you try to access A member, static member of the parent class, you don't have access to. So member AA is not inherited to D. Static member do not have this pointer as well. So this pointer is used to have access to the other member, but not the static member.